Hello and welcome back to Star Citizen. My name is Evenlease, and today on 10 Minutes More or Less Ship Review, right behind me, the Esperia Prowler. Let's go ahead and take a look. All right, welcome back to another ship review. Today, the Prowler, which is a dropship alien replica of nature. There's a lot of fun things about this ship. I'm going to say, a lot of the times it looks like a shrimp, and then it kind of looks like a bird, and then it makes a mix between the two. It really does have like an animal aesthetic to it. Like it really does look like a flying shrimp, and that is quite interesting. Taking a look at this ship, though, I think it is probably one of the, I'd say, easier drop ships to use, and that's just due to its firepower for the pilot as well as its stealth capabilities, which I'm going to talk about. Let's go ahead and start with this price tag, though. It's got the dropship price tag, and then it's got the alien price tag sitting at $440 if you want to buy this on the pledge store. It is not a big ship by any means, so that price tag is all to do with what it does and pretty much who makes the ship. And so that's a pretty high price tag. Now, if you buy it in game, it is $18,711,000 aUEC. Again, a pretty high price tag. So if you're getting this, more than likely you have a lot of friends, or you're running org ops, or there's a reason why you need all the seats that this ship does have, because otherwise, why would you use it, right? Now, this ship, for the pilot, when you're shooting those guns, you do have upwards to 2,698 DPS, and that's combining the top turret and the bottom guns, which is 2 size 5 Deadbolt 5 guns, as well as 2 size 3 Light Strike 3 cannons at the top. Now, the turret at the top can be used by the pilot, or it can be used separate by the co-pilot seat on the interior, which we'll take a look at here shortly. When it is split up, that is 376 DPS for that remote turret when it's alone. So not that high, but it's not terrible. So when you got to shoot behind you, that's probably not a bad idea. Now, otherwise, there's no other guns on this ship. There's no, side guns, no back gun, nothing to really help out in the drop ship, way of being, like the Cutlass Steel, where it has guns littering the whole outside of it, or the Valkyrie, or just ships like that. This one doesn't have anything like that. So this ship is meant to go behind enemy lines very stealthily and drop troops off. Now, there's no missiles, nothing like that. So that's a very big lacking. I wish the thing had missiles, just like a rocket pod or two, one on each wing that can shoot some guided missiles, which would be great, but nothing there. Now, you do have 2 size 2 shield generators, giving you a total bubble shield of 10,200, which is about average for any of the drop ships out there. Some of them are lower, some of them, or one of them I think is just a little bit higher, but honestly, that's about average, so not too big of a deal there. You just got to be careful, because you lose that shield, you're going to start getting hit. And of course, just like any ship with big arms or wings like this, you don't want to get those taken out, because the second you lose one of those, you're pretty much going to be incapable of flying this thing, whether you're in space or you're in atmosphere. It is a pretty hard task to achieve. And like always, the health pool on these wings is pretty small, so try to stay moving. Try to rotate a lot. Try to move your ship. Don't let them hit these crucial parts, right? Now, you do have 79,900 HP, but again, it's spread out a bit throughout all the little parts on this ship, and so it doesn't group up that well, but it is a pretty big health pool, so it does allow you to take a couple hits before you have to worry, which is pretty nice. Now, when it comes down to getting shot at, you got to ask yourself, how fast am I? Am I going to be able to escape conflict? It's not going to be the greatest, right? You're sitting at 200 SCM as your top SCM speed with a 420 forward boost and a 2 forward backwards boost with a 1,100 nav speed. So again, you're kind of average with a lot of ships, and any light fighter or medium fighter, or even some heavy fighters are going to be faster than you. So are you going to be able to escape? Not so well. So make sure you plan your route accordingly, and maybe bring some backup if needed. But you know what? These guns do hit really hard. So as long as you can stay on target, you'll be fine. Now, what about your maneuverability? Not so great. 35, 30, 100 pitch yaw roll. So pretty much anything can outmaneuver you when it comes to combat, in the light or medium or even heavy field. So that is something you also have to be aware of. You don't have the greatest speed. You don't have the greatest maneuverability, but it is average with all other drop ships. So not too big of a deal if you're comparing it to those. You're sitting about right. So it's not like you're dramatically worse than those ships, and you're not, much better than them either. Now, you do have a 39 SCU of hydrogen fuel and 1.8 SCU of quantum fuel, so it's got a pretty good amount of fuel storage on it. Definitely nothing to write home about when quantum fuel, but it does the job, especially when you're traversing something like Pyro. You only have to make a few stops or grab someone that has a Starfarer and hopefully refuel once in a while. So that's, not terrible. So looking good there. Now, like I said, this thing is very stealthy. Your top EM ratings are like 4,500, 5,000. So you are pretty much under the guise of radar the entire time you're operating this thing, unless you get right up next to somebody. So that's kind of a big positive with this ship, is you're a drop ship with not the biggest amount of shield strength and some fragile wings and stuff. But you're really not going to get detected until you're on top of that target. And then all you got to do is just come in quick and drop your troops. So let's get into the interior of the ship and show you how that's done. Now, take a look at this. This is the ramp here. Most dropships have the availability to put on a vehicle or whatnot. This one, it's a lot more difficult. Now, it's not to say you can't try to fit a really small pulse back here, but it's going to be very cramped, and it's definitely not made to do that. So if even possible, it's not going to be the funnest experience getting it in and out. But, people have done crazier things, so it's probably possible. Now, walking through this, you have like a shield here, which is really bright red, interestingly enough. Maybe a little bugged. There is quite a few. Let me go over the bugs here with you really quick. Just a couple of them. First, graphic bugs. There is quite a few graphical bugs, depending on where you are at. A lot of times, a lot of the doors will show up black, or some things won't appear, and that's pretty annoying. Outside of that, you do have no seat animations. Like when I got into a seat, I go ahead and enter, and typically you would bring that all the way down, and not happening. It just looks like I'm here to enjoy the ride. Let's go ahead and see if I can get a view here of that. Oh, yeah, there I am. Let's go ahead and get a little closer here. That is the way you're going to be sitting, and I'm sorry, but that's not a great pose for dropping into enemy territory. So something hopefully they'll fix soon. And then there is no weapon animations as well. So when the weapons are firing, you do not get the liberty to see the animations work on those right now. And then also, it was really random, but I was climbing down the ladder here. This goes up to the pilot seat, and I fell and died. It was pretty sad, as you can see. I laid there. I was wondering what I did wrong, but let's go ahead and get back to the front of the ship. When you enter the ship here, it's a pretty straightforward design. You got a weapons rack right next to one of your jump seats. You got another one over here. And then on this side, you got another weapons rack, another weapons rack. You got 4 forward jump seats that don't have their own door technically, other than this back ramp, which is protected when you're running out here, right? So you get a little bit of protection until you hit this point, and then you're going to get shot. But once you're, right here, you should be okay. Just, dead ahead. Make sure there's no snipers or anything. Otherwise, the jump seats here, if you go ahead and sit here, they do have all their own operational doors right in front of them, allowing you to do like a quick jump, almost like a Halo style. If you're at 20,000 feet and you have a parachute or something, which we don't have in game yet, you can just jump straight out and have a great time, which is fantastic. Last time I opened all these doors and closed them, the doors themselves disappeared. Another graphical bug. But the doors were still physically there, but it just didn't look like it. So hopefully that'll get fixed up here. Now, that is pretty cool. That faces these middle seats, and I thought that was just awesome. And then next to each seat, of course, is a weapons rack for your rifle, because, what soldier wants to hold on to their rifle before they go out into combat, right? Just a little storage area. Now, when you're moving forward into the ship here, straight ahead, to your left is going to be another weapons rack with 4 guns, and then you have a second entrance which you can go ahead and open. You can go out this way, in this way, whatever you need to do. Have it open, just perch right here, shoot out there, pretty good. And then you have another drop seat here, and 3 more right here. All in total, you have 16 drop seats, not including, of course, the pilot and co-pilot seat. Now, when you look straight ahead, this right here is the co-pilot seat, which I'm going to go ahead and get in here really quick because this review is just about over. But I want to show you a view of each little area. And you're wondering, well, how do you see out of this thing? Well, once you power it on, you can go ahead and look right on out. It uses this camera system that basically turns this whole interior into a screen, which is really cool. Gotta love that. Again, this is the co-pilot seat, so you're not going to be doing much here other than working that gun up there or changing some power systems. Or if need be, you can potentially fly the ship if your pilot is taken out of duty. Now, if you go up this really hard to tell ladder, I mean, I was walking through the ship multiple times. I was like, where do you get to the pilot seat? And then I looked and I was like, oh, here we go. You got a fire extinguisher there. But you go up this ladder. I wish they'd just do a little bit of different lighting right where that ladder is, just to kind of give you an idea. And then you have a lot of your components, or most, if not all your components, behind these doors here. So pretty nice. It's right behind the pilot. Impossible to change any of these. I don't think you're going to be getting any of these components out of here. You got 2 size 2 shield generators, which... how are you going to get that through that little dinky hole? I don't know, but this is something that is going to have to be looked at in the future once they do the gold standard pass on a lot of these ships. And then right here is your pilot seat. He's just kind of stored up in like a closet up above, right? It's really randomly placed, but this is where you sit to operate the ship, which isn't terrible. It is what it is. Now, of course, I'm going to go into third person here really quick. I'm going to close up the exterior of this ship, and then I will show you, as you've seen already, but the landing gear, when they go up, it does look pretty neat animation. They move so quick. And then, of course, if you press K on the keyboard, you do have VTOL thrusters as well. So you don't have to actually put down the landing gear themselves, but you do have VTOL thrusters. So I'll go ahead and press K again. Now, there's not much else to this ship. It's a great ship. It has a lot going for it when it comes down to being a drop ship. But, drop ships just aren't my thing. Price-wise, they're a little overpriced a lot of the times, too. But this thing can do quite a bit. You can do deliveries. You can drop off troops. You can do bounties for sure. The skin's got some big guns. And if you swap them out, put some fun, like, attritions or something on there, something you feel comfortable with, you're going to have a great time. Even right now, this thing hits hard, just as is. So, honestly, my score for this ship is an 8 out of 10. I don't take the bugs into consideration with my score, of course, because I'm reviewing the capabilities of the ship, and graphical issues aren't really that big of a deal when it comes to that score. So, as long as the ship's working and you're able to do what you're able to do, that's my score, 8 out of 10. The biggest hits for me are the cargo vehicle. There's no cargo, no vehicle space, really. And then missiles. No missiles. You're a combat dropship, and you don't have the ability to put down some heavy firepower with some missile barrages, which is too bad. Let me know, what do you think of the Esperia Prowler down in the comments below? I'm being shot at by somebody. But yeah, let me know. What do you think of this ship here? And yeah, do you have one? Do you plan on getting one? Is this a ship that you'd consider over other drop ships? Or, what do you find is a more capable drop ship in allowing you to fight? Where'd this guy go? Oh, there he is. AI is attacking me randomly. Done. All right. Thank you guys for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Let me know again, what do you think of the Esperia Prowler down in the comments below? And I will see you guys in the next one.